I think it's important for people to understand that the president, first and foremost, is a political. He was elected into office, and the president has a political agenda for the country, which is a development-based political agenda. And the president has been very consistent on what he expects the people who support him to be doing. And this he has actually asked even those of us who are elected to support him. And he has challenged a lot of us to stop doing some things that he doesn't like. Now, then there are those people he has appointed himself to work with him. If he appoints you and then you do not do what he's asking you to do, unlike us who are elected, who he can't do much about except just basically condemn us publicly, he can do something about his cabinet. So if you're in his cabinet and you're not doing what it is that he expects you to do, of course he's going to release you. He's going to actually let you go and do whatever you're doing. Because Kiunjuri has the right to do whatever he wants. Huh? But once he's working under the president, once you get appointed, then you're limited in what you can do. Because what you can do has to be limited to the responsibilities you're given. I mean, which is the same thing that happens to the deputy president. It's only the deputy president cannot get fired. You're limited to what it is that you can do because you're working for the boss who appointed you into office. Kiunjuri was appointed by the president. He was given certain mandates. He was given certain responsibilities. Somehow he seems to have decided that his office is what he was going to use to catapult himself into political leadership, either of the region or the country. Unfortunately, now he's going to have to look for a different platform. And that's why I'm saying we will not, personally, I'm one of those people who has called for him to leave office, because he cannot be part of the people complaining about the ministry, about issues related to agriculture with us, and he's a minister of agriculture. At least now he's joined the rest of us, he can complain with us outside. I don't think Kiunjuri being removed from cabinet is going to affect Mount Kenya politics at all. I think he asked for this himself. I mean, we have told him on several occasions that he's been cabinet to support the president and to do the responsibilities that that are entrusted to him. He seemed to have been cutting his own independent niche, and he wanted to run his own show. And I guess what the president has done is just released him to go and run his own independent politics. Now he is free to go and do the politics that he wants to do, and we wish him all the best. The issue of milk. So something else that people have been raising, and he talked about a tax on all milk imports coming in from the region. He also spoke about 500 million shillings being released to buy off all excess milk so it can be converted into powder for future use. And for me, that's a big thing, because one of the places that's going to happen is in Kiganjo, which is here in Nyeri constituency. He also authorized for another 500 million, 567 million shillings, to be used to upscale the capacity again of two milk centers. One of them again being Kiganjo. So for me, being from Nyeri town and representing Nyeri town, I'm quite happy, because we're going to see quite a lot of activity in Kiganjo, which is going to help all of us directly or indirectly from this constituency, from this county, and moving out. My immediate reaction to the changes and the speech that the president did in Mombasa, I think the first thing is it's important for us to understand that the president always uses Mombasa as where he sets the agenda for the year ahead of him. And the speech that he has actually given today shows you what his general agenda for this year is going to be. I think for me, as a member of parliament from this region, the things that stood out for me are that he actually touched each and every one of the things that people have been complaining about. The issue of coffee and making sure that the cherry fund is activated. The issue of tea, dealing with the monopoly of KTDA, and pushing for value addition to tea before export. I noted especially the fact that he mentioned that tea should actually have been, farmers should have gotten 91 shillings and they got 41. And his question was, where did 50 shillings go? It's a very interesting question to get. And as we look and audit KTDA moving forward, some of the questions that we're going to be asking are those ones. But also allowing for competition with KTDA for the tea farmers is certainly a good thing for farmers. I think the other thing I must that stood out for me was the appointment of Mutahi Kagwe or nomination of Mutahi Kagwe as Minister for Cabinet Secretary for Health. I think personally I'm very, very proud of it, because Mutahi is somebody I hold in very high regard. The fact that he's from Nyeri County notwithstanding, I don't think he got that position just because he's from Nyeri County. I think he got that position because he's actually somebody who can be entrusted with that kind of work. I also want us we also need to remember that Cicely Kariuki has done an amazing job so far with the ministry. That the fact that she's moved to water, for me again, is a plus, because water is a big thing especially for places like here where we are looking for irrigation, and that's an office we will continue to knock now on looking for something else. For Mutahi Kagwe, the fact that he's been entrusted with a ministry that is piloting or is pushing on for universal healthcare, which was piloted here, is more of being told, can you go home, learn what it is that has happened so far and replicate it to the rest of the country. So that's a very, 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 very good thing for us, and something I am quite happy that the president did.